Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me?
Chat here because I wanna see how you guys are doing.
Yeah,
Remember, there's like
let's get an update from everybody. How's everybody doing? Who's launching products? Let's hear it.
a who's following up with everyone from ASD. I tell you what, I've been emailing all day with lots of good stuff going on. So Common says, great, awesome.
Common is awesome. That's why.
I know he is. He's gonna be an all-star, that guy.
Okay, move faces around. That's annoying. Okay. All right, we're ready to go.
You muted me, but
I did that.
Yeah, but it's all good.
Okay.
I unmuted myself. We're good. Let's get going.
All right. Okay, sorry for the delay, but we are off to the races now, and welcome to the final webinar here of our ASD mining, and hopefully you are not sick of us seeing us on 5 webinars, but we got a lot of cool little content here that we're going to go through. As always, my lovely partner, Christy Michelle, is with me, who is probably better at all this than I am, but I'm going to try and get through it. So, so Christy, you want to jump in or anything, or I know, is anyone commenting on where they're at? Have you gotten?
Just going to be using Suzanne's system to contact sellers. That's what Cayman's up to. But
Yeah, absolutely. Contact sellers, you mean wholesalers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we've covered. So I just want to kind of go over a quick recap of the steps we've kind of gone through and what we covered so far in the first parts of the webinar. So if you remember in webinar 1, all the way back to the beginning of this, we talked about reverse engineering Amazon to find leads and build a shopping list for ASD. We also talked about building product sourcing builders based on our goals for profits per product. We talked about finding leads with keywords and products that expose vulnerable positions in the Amazon marketplace, right? We're looking for those gaps, those wide open gaps that we can, with high demand, low competition, we can sell products in. We analyzed the Amazon marketplace to validate leads through search terms by discovering a root word through merchant words, to find top traffic keyword positions, and then we validate the market by checking product results, demand, competition, sales to review ratio, and price point. All right, those are all the metrics that we really focus in on to determine if the market is viable for us. We also talked about using research tools like Scope, Jungle Scout, Viral Launch Market Intelligence, and we're going to dive into some more tools today. So let's see, what we also talked about was talking about bundle ideas and following those rabbit trails to uncover much more additional products related to the products that we're already discovering, right? So we always want to make sure that every lead that we find, we can follow the rabbit trail to many more leads. So with bundles, we look at what's frequently bought together. Obviously, Amazon tells us that information. What items complement your product by increasing the value of your offer. What items can be used with your item. We look for items that have low cost but high perceived value. We look into the first page listings for additional product ideas. Obviously, customers who bought this, sponsored products related to this item. And I do want to add something to this too as well. If you do discover a product lead, like a good market, right, and you see the products are going to work, go into seller storefronts as well. If you see one of these private label products and it says like one FBA seller, right, chances are that's a private label seller, and he may have many other products already launched into that market, right? So go into his storefront and check out what other stuff he's holding, and maybe you can get some ideas. Just go ahead and revalidate the leads. Use the storefront as like a wholesale list, and just pull those leads out and validate them on Amazon. So we're going to search for product ideas through related keywords using broad match and successive search tools like merchant words, keyword tool dominator, right? Also, webinar 2, we talked about navigating the ASD vendor list, over 2,000 vendors by filtering the list using keywords and vendor names, product categories, and advanced filter options. We use keywords and vendor names like imports, trading, international, and INT apostrophe L. We finding products through vendor websites by looking for generic non-brand driven items and plugging related keywords into Amazon market research, right? Contacting suppliers via phone call, email, asking Ryan Rieger's magic question that we discussed many times. We also talked about how to analyze and vet product opportunities at ASD, and leveraging your network of knowledge on Amazon for many more business opportunities like partnerships, consulting, and this sort of things, right? So webinar 3, we talked about preparing for the show. So this was mostly, we went over, you know, if we're going to be going to the show, preparing for that show, going to the show with a plan, the ways to ask, you know, what questions to ask wholesalers. We talked about using the ASD mobile app. We talked about sourcing and research on mobile at the show using like Viral Launch and Merchant Words web app on your cell phone and Amazon as well. We talked about the Match Me booth, and we talked about Ryan's walkthrough. And we talked about leveraging this group, right? Leveraging your network and community to like maximizing the show, right? So webinar 4, wow, this is a lot. This is a lot. I thought this was going to be a nice little recap, but if we went through a lot of information. So webinar 4, we talked about sending follow-up emails to vendors and scheduling calls. We talked about negotiating your orders, minimum order quantity and pricing. We talked about how to vet manufacturers, especially manufacturers in China, how to go through different websites and kind of look at the location and cross-reference some information to validate that they're reputable manufacturers, right? We talked about leveraging manufacturers and sourcing agents for sourcing other products. We also talked about collecting keyword data for product discovery, and we talked about analyzing competitors for product improvements and modifications, and we are going to touch on that a little bit in this webinar as well. So what we're going to do is get into webinar number 5, and this is going to be centered around selling your products, right? So all the things to do and everything to line up as far as how are we going to get your products to sell, whether it's like running ads and optimizing a listing. So basically everything to do on the back end. Once you have your product, you've ordered it, and we're going to get that product to sell now, and some creative ways that we can do that. So we're also going to tie all this in together. Like, why are we doing all this keyword research and competitor analysis and all this stuff? So we're going to see how we tie all this together and use it to sell our products, right? So here's what we're going to cover tonight. So we did the recap. So we're going to recap again, finding keywords and top competitors, which is what we kind of ended with last night, where I kind of showed the spreadsheet, and there was tons of questions on that, and I think you actually all got the spreadsheet, right? So we're going to kind of go over that a little bit and dive in a little bit deeper, and we're going to talk about how to use this research to tie it all together, like I just mentioned, right? So we're going to talk about building out a sponsored ad strategy and what that means. We're going to talk about ways to format and optimize your listing, right? So I've got some neat little tricks for you to get you started on that path as far as what to plug in where in your listing. We're talking about adding customer value to a review strategy, and I'll show you couple little neat little tricks to do that. We're going to talk about simple ways to increase sales. We're going to talk about building a repeatable system and outsourcing, which is, we also covered a little bit on the last webinar, and there was just a ton of questions related to VAs and this sort of thing. So, you know, you got a lot of information on that last time, but we're not going to dive too much deeper into that, but just kind of the value of it. So, again, here's another look at the 8 steps to private label that this is the way I look at private label in a repeatable system. So we're here kind of going to touch on 4, but really we're like 5, 6, 7, 8 here on the last end of this these steps here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so getting back into keyword research, right? So ways that we can do keyword research. So I'm going to show you some little tricks as far as keyword research is concerned, and some things I actually learned just this week. So Amazon. So here's just some tools that you could use, which is the Amazon Search Bar on desktop, Amazon Search Bar on mobile. Right, most sales are made off a mobile device, so it's super important to optimize for mobile. Cherry Picker, ReverseASIN.com. So these are all free. Sonar is also free. Merchant Words, a broad match search tool. Keyword Tool Dominator, one of my favorites, right? Scope, where it has a really cool reverse ASIN tool. It's super easy to use. And you want to build all this into a spreadsheet, right? So I do want to show you a neat little trick that I just learned this week. And special thanks to Tammy and Scott Kenyon, who I work with at coaching, showed me this neat little trick. So I'm going to just press escape here, and what we could do is go to the Amazon page, right? And I have up this truck cargo net. So what I've been able to do, and what they taught me, was that using context menu search, you can actually add merchant words to context menu search. So if you look at, say I pull up a product here, right? It's this one, and I want to just look for cargo net in merchant words. I'm just going to highlight that. Oops, super slow, Amazon. Should have known like the technical issues aren't going to be helping me here. But if I do this, I hit context menu search, see merchant words is right there. Now I'm going to hit that, and it's going to pull up merchant words and plug that right in. So you can do quick, quick keyword checking on from product titles and things like that from Amazon right to merchant words. Now, the way to do this is if you go into your what's it called? Your more tools and your extensions, right? So you're going to go into context menu search and hit options, and then you're going to hit add search engines, and you can go down and plug in a link here to merchant words. So what I will do is share this in the Facebook group after this webinar. I will post the actual link that you have to put in, because I really don't understand the link. She gave it to me, and you can plug this link in, and just for this small group here, you'll be able to, because I've never seen anybody do that. Maybe you guys know this, but you can actually add context menu search to merchant words. It just saves a lot of time, right? So, so if we just X out of this, and we go to, so that's just a neat little trick of merchant words to kind of fast track that. So if we go back to, so one other thing I want to show you is we're going to put all keywords into a spreadsheet, which you've seen before. So one question that I get all the time is how to incorporate a tool like Cherry Picker into in this data research, right? So I'm pretty sure we showed merchant words and keyword tool dominator. You guys have seen that a lot, right? What we can do is, so I'm going to show you a couple other tools here like Cherry Picker. So I ran these keywords through Cherry Picker, and here's what I look for. Now there's a lot of data research here. It's basically all market research for products in the top 10, right? It's pretty straightforward as far as this, but what people don't really understand is organic traffic and estimated CPC. So the way that I look at this, when I upload a list of keywords onto this and I'm looking to see, I'm using it kind of as a layer to scope out what possible keywords are going to be useful for sponsored ads, right? So I look at kind of the relationship between these two boxes here. So I want to see high or very high organic competition and low cost per click. So if I just scroll down here, now the original keyword we looked at was like truck cargo net, right? So I'm just going to kind of get a visual of like some low cost keywords. So I see down here 77 cents, very high organic competition, right? And it says bungee truck net, right? So Like that's not a keyword I would have thought of, right? But it may have it may be a unique opportunity to run ads on that page and start to grab sales. So that's what I look for. I look the relationship of low estimated CPC and high organic competition, right? Because we've already, at this point, we've already looked at the lead, we've vetted that it's a good lead. We're just trying to find unique positions that we can sell on. So that's just one simple way that we could use Cherry Picker to your advantage when you're looking for places to start running ads and things like that. So the other thing that we want to talk about when we're doing keyword collection is, now if I just go back to I'm just going to go back to the slides here real quick because we can move on to the next step, which is competitor analysis, right? So as you're building out your keywords, oops, what did I do? Okay. Here are some simple tips. We also went over this on the last webinar, which is looking for top sellers, product with the most reviews, length of time converting on Amazon for relevant keywords. You want to at least find 5 or more products within your niche, top competitors in your niche. We talked about the 999 tracking, which is you can go and into any product, your top competitor, and just buy their product and say, well, not actually buy it, but say you want to buy 999, it'll say, okay, maybe there's like 600 left. And then the next day, same time, you try it again, and that's how much you can really tell they're selling per day, right? Where are they, where are these products ranking organically, and where are they running sponsored ads, right? So before we check the spreadsheet, what I can do is also a way to get, once you identify these top competitors, we can run reverse ASINs on them. And I just want to show you how we use Scope to do this because it's super simple and easy. The days of kind of keyword inspector, going to their site, running reverse ASIN, waiting for it to populate, it just takes forever, right? So I'm all about speed when I'm checking this. So if I just pull up this product, this is a main competitor. Its rank was like 2,500, I think. And in auto, a 2,500 rank sells about 10 a day. So what we can do is just hit Scope here. When I move stuff out of the way, there it is. I'm going to hit Scope, and it's going to populate right on the page while I'm in the listing. So here's one way that, and I'm going to show you one way that we use Scope, right? Because this is what I like about Scope. So I'm just going to click on this box here, which is estimated sales, and it'll populate based on highest to lowest. So what this is telling me is these are the top converting keywords. So these are how many sales per month this product gets from this keyword, right? So so right here it says like 23 sales off this cargo nets keyword, right? So what you can do is record any number of the top converting keywords to put into your list as well to start analyzing positions, right? So if you have, top 5 competitors, you can download a certain number, top 20 or whatever, minus the ASINs and things like that. And also you're gonna, of course you're gonna have to delete. You can also download CSV right from here, but you can delete all the ones that are repeating, because obviously the same keywords are going to repeat from different ASINs, and you want to get rid of keywords that don't make sense, right? Like grizzly gear here, that's not going to really help you out. And ASINs, you want to delete those as well. So you're going to have to do some additional removal before you put them in your final list. So that's just a couple of little tricks to use some of the tools. As far as Cherry Picker and Scope, some quick ways to, little tricks to kind of get maximum value out of the tools, right? We use a lot of tools, but we mostly use just small little pieces of them that ties into a specific system, right? So when you sign up for these tools, some of these tools are crazy. You don't have to learn every little bit of it, right? Tie the tool into your system so that it works for you. Okay, so again, analyzing top competitors. You can analyze sales and reviews with Amazon, Viral Launch, Market Intelligence, Jungle Scout, Scope, Cherry Picker, right? Length of time on Amazon, you can use Keepa and Scope for converting on relevant keywords. Organic competition and sponsored ads, you can use Amazon and Cherry Picker, which I showed you, right? So here's a screenshot of a product that, and I want to talk to you about that list because we literally just used that list, and this was a case study that we did where we just did not run any ads and just did keyword targeting, right? In our title, bullets, description, had a really good main image. So I just kind of optimized the keywords and the marketing copy and the listing, and I did not run any ads. And this was 7 days that we just completely blew this thing out, and was just like almost every, huge, huge session percentage on here as far as as far as converting on this. So you can see, 14 sales in 7 days, averaged out to about 2 a day. But this was a test that we did, and it's kind of a case study, and it was just super effective.
And that was just on initial launch. That wasn't after it got going. We didn't run any sponsored ads or anything.
Yeah, this is from day one. Listing went live 7 days on Amazon. And this was the data we saw just from picking our positions like that and picking the right keywords for our title. Of course, this was also great product selection in a wide open market too. So when it all ties in, it's much easier. But just to prove to you that, the sales, you can get sales easily, even, and then running ads is going to just make it much easier than that. But as far as when you focus on product selection and selecting the right products and niche products, it's much easier to sell. And that's kind of the point I was trying to make. Okay, so talk about sponsored ads a little bit. So when you're running an ad, and there's a lot of different ways, that people run ads, and, I am certainly not like the foremost expert on running sponsored ads, but I do pretty well. So what I do is basically main keyword targets in the product title. Now, I usually don't target more than 2 or 3 at a time in the title. If I can do more, I will do it, and it's usually because of a long tail, kind of a long tail keyword, but in that keyword phrase, I'm targeting a few different search terms, right? So that's all focused kind of in the beginning of my title, which is number 2. So I run 2 to 5 exact match ads based on relevant keywords in my title, right? So target low cost keyword with an acceptable level of demand. So I pause the campaign if I start seeing cost per click over 65 cents. Now, before I get into these numbers, this is all relative, right? If it's you're going to have naturally higher cost per clicks on some niches and some categories than other. So make it relative. It's more important that you keep your ACoS down. We'll get to that, right? So cost per click under 65 cents, you might want to pause the campaign, right? Impressions are low, so look for like 3 to 500 impressions, depending on the market. Is below that is really low for impressions, right? So we're looking for like 3 to 500 on average impressions per day is acceptable for a niche keyword, right? So we want to keep our ACoS at 15%, and really you don't want to eat up more than 50% of your margin with ACoS, right? So if your margins are really high, you can go a little bit more than that. However, on average, if your margin's around 30%, you don't want to eat up, especially in the beginning, right? So in the beginning, you can put a little bit more money up front on your advertising, but that should definitely balance out in the end. So you want to lock into keywords that aren't going to cost you a lot of money long term, right? So we want to easily rank for keywords. So these are just some metrics that you can use to kind of dial into your ads as a reference, right? I've certainly gone after keywords, cost per clicks in like the $1.15 range, but I was able to keep my ACoS down because they were just converting so well, right? Because impressions were through the roof. So it's relative to the market you're going after, but I think this is a pretty good guideline based on data we see. Okay, so listing optimization. So this is huge. This is like a huge little paragraph here, but there is a lot of information here, but I try to just pick out like the ways that I go into optimize a listing, right? So first and foremost, understand that when you're writing a listing, you're writing for 2 audiences, right? And one of them is Amazon's search engine, and the other one is the Amazon customer. So Amazon search engine, obviously you're targeting keywords, right? And you're running ads and you want that all to line up, right? So the other one though is the Amazon customer. I know there's more talk nowadays about writing for benefits and things like that, but the more you dial into your customer and write for them in your listing, the better your conversions are going to be. So Amazon SEO gets the product in front of the right customers. Writing good benefits and marketing copy converts. Okay. All right. So most important keywords in the title, followed by a leading benefit. So the way I do it is in the first 5 words of my title is where I want my best keywords optimized in there, right? I want my unique product identifier to be in the first 5 words. And this is something we can also kind of simultaneously optimize for Google search using something called the canonical URL. So this is just how Amazon identifies your product off of Amazon, right? So if you were to search like first 5 words in your title in Amazon, your product should show up if you have this optimized correctly. So usually in the first 5 words, I'm going to dial in a long tail keyword that also has a couple of other really identifying keywords in there, right? Structured really well. That's what I look for, right? So you also want 6 or 7 pictures showing visual representations of your benefits and related keywords, right? So based on what problems you're, the whole benefit thing, what problems are your customers trying to solve, what are their needs, right? Show that in a visual representation in your listing. So bullets written for customer benefits supported by features. So what I mean by that is there's kind of 2 types of customers searching, right? So, some like to just like, okay, yep, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want, let's do it. And then other customers like to kind of know everything, right? They want to know about the features. So what I do is basically just turn the features of your product into a benefit, right? So how does that feature benefit the customer in a way that they are looking for and solving a problem and that sort of thing? So in the beginning of the bullet, usually in all capitals, I write out a benefit. And then in the back, I say, oh, because of this feature and it does this. And it's still kind of benefit writing, but you're also listing the features, right? So benefits, the bullets, so customer benefits supported by features. That's like the best way I can describe that. Okay, so you also in your bullets want to create urgency, scarcity, and set yourself above your competitors in some way, right? So some type of like urgency, example of urgency or scarcity would be like, you can't have a call to action in the bullets, right? It's against Amazon's terms of service. You can do it in description, not in the bullets. So you want to create some sort of scarcity, like, really difficult to keep this product in stock, or, some type of writing for that, like, it's hard to keep these in stock because they're flying off the shelf. I don't know, right? I can't really think of like great copy right now, but something along those lines. And then set yourself above your competitors. So this works really well for us, which is, hey, the best whatever on Amazon, don't want to give away one of my products, but like, like say I'm selling, I don't know, like, I don't know, a resistance band, like, the strongest resistance band on Amazon, like, whatever that ends up being. But like, and for some reason, like, customers believe that when you write about it, like no other product that is selling against you, especially in these niche markets, all the listings are terrible and they don't even have, they list features and nothing else, right? So good copy is going to really identify, but like, just set yourself apart from your customer in some way. And that's usually by just saying something simple like that. It works. Also, like I said, leverage all caps and bullets and description, something called dual readership, right? So you want kind of writing for 2 different types of people that, and of course it's going to optimize you for mobile too, which is super important, guys, that like, your best bullet should be first, because only a couple of bullets show up on mobile. And in the beginning of each bullet is your benefit, is your catch right there, right? So, because you're going to think, always check your listing on a mobile device and see how it comes up that way. Super important to optimize your listings for mobile. Okay, use HTML in the description. And I would only use boldface in paragraph. Bullets are probably okay too, but Amazon's not going to really, especially if your brand's not registered or anything like that. You want to not overdo it on HTML, right? The other thing too is when you write HTML, in the description, it takes off a lot of characters, right? So if you do kind of overdo it in the beginning, you have to go back and like shrink the characters so that it fits in Amazon's in the listing when you upload the listing, right? So also you want to include a call to action, and also include most common customer questions. So you pretty much start off kind of with a call to action in there, and then kind of list like, most common customer questions. You find that out through reading through reviews. Like what are always like you always see one concern coming up, right? So you just write out the question and then answer it related to your product, like making it sound great. That's pretty much what I do. Maybe one or two of those, and then just kind of copy the bullets into the description and like have a call to action. That's pretty much like description is like just your final selling point, right? So that's why the description should be all marketing copy, not much more to it. Okay, I gotta move some stuff because I can't read this. Okay, so I'll get rid of that thing because I can't read the last bullet. That's awesome. Oop, back. Can you read that? I might like this.
Which one? Is that number 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, here we go. Back-end search terms. Basically, you want to leverage your keyword list with no repeats, right? So, so what I do is basically use a simple word list maker or something like that that is going to just take out all the duplicates out of all your search terms that you collected and like just stuff them into the back end, right? You don't have to repeat any words that are in your title already, and you just want to make sure that you're ranking for all relative search terms in the niche. Also, use a template. That's what I couldn't read. It was like a bar blocking it. Use a template to structure and strategize your listing updates and improvements. So I'm just going to press escape here and show you. Come on. Oh, computer is just awesome today. Okay, so let me. All right, here's the listing. Okay, so this is the listing template that I use, and I like using a listing template in Excel format, and I'll tell you why. And it's because I can put my keywords here. So, like for example, if I select the first keywords I want to start with, I'm going to put them in the anchor keywords up here, right? And down here in the bottom, I can list all my additional keywords, like my next level tier to cycle keywords up. So I have a running list here ready to be cycled up to the title if if these ones don't work out for the numbers in the ad campaign, right? I list out my customer benefits here and title, structure the title, but it's all in here to kind of recycle. So I use this as like a running list. So I copy and paste it into my listing, populate it onto Amazon, and then as I'm running my ads, I use this template as like a running list so I can constantly make the changes in the template, and then when I'm ready to re-upload into Amazon, I can change things, but I have it all here ready to go, kind of using this information. And I also have some written out stuff here. If you hover on the boxes, it has just some little points and I did this like a year ago, so maybe some stuff's outdated, but it's pretty cool. Just some things that I have in here. So anyway, I'm gonna give this all to you guys. I will upload this into the group so you all have this and you can use it. I like it. Obviously, you can make changes to it and do whatever you want, but it's pretty cool. Okay. So getting back here, any questions or things you want to stop me? Because I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, we're just wondering if we can put in a good listing in the Facebook group, just like I don't know, send out like an ASIN so everyone can check out what a good listing looks like?
Sure.
So I think we could
Go for it.
probably poke around and see if we can find one that we think would be pretty good and speak to it for
Yes.
sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, so just talk a little bit about a review strategy, probably my least favorite topic in the world. But
It's
I
just
will
not.
tell you, yeah, it's not something I really overthink or, overstress about. Like, when you make sales, you get reviews, but we do a simple email sequence, and I do have a couple little tricks that I can tell you about if you're really stressed about reviews and all that. So, I'll tell you, as a coach, I get so many questions. It'll be like, oh, hey, can you share your email sequence with me? I'm like, dude, it's really nothing. Like, you're going to be very disappointed. But we use Feedback Genius. I know there's another one out there. If you remember the name of it, Christy, chime in. But Mike Russo was telling me he's using a new one there that I don't know.
I don't remember it right now.
I don't pay so much attention about like the new bells and whistles. I'm not like super savvy with this stuff, so like I use Feedback Genius. It works for me. It's good enough, right? So after sale email sequence, right? If you're not doing anything, you should be, right? So I will say that if you're not doing anything to get reviews, you are definitely selling yourself short, because you can up your review accrual on your product. That is, I know I have a tough time saying that all the time, but yes, you can certainly get yourself relevant much faster into your niche, right? So, we like to see review accrual around 5% is like what we're after. So here we go. If we do, the first you want to do in the first email that goes out to your customers, add value, right? Add value first. So they are much more likely to open emails from you. So here, the first thing I can tell you is ebook, right? You can start to create an ebook, and what you can do is go onto Google, and this is a Jenny Hunt trick here, and just Google PLR plus your niche, and you will find thousands of articles related to whatever you're selling. You can buy these articles for like super cheap and format them into some sort of ebook. You can also just do Google searches on related blogs and rewrite stuff. Don't plagiarize anything, but rewrite stuff into an ebook format. And to create a simple ebook, go to canva.com. You can create ebooks on that website. So there's your end-to-end right there. If you want to do that and deliver that to your customer in this first email. After that, though, follow up with your typical, general ask for an honest review, right? So like, you never say like, hey, here's something free, give me a review, right? You send the free stuff first, then follow up with, hey, leave an honest review. And the template that I like in Feedback Genius is the one that is basically like, hey, if you are happy with your product, leave an honest review. If you are unhappy with your product, hit this link, and that link takes them to customer service, so you can solve the problem immediately. And usually, if they're unhappy, it's immediately like refund, and you can keep the product, because that'll at least keep you honest, and there'll be no issues there, right? I don't even want to deal with, hey, send it back to me, or like, let me send you a return form. Like, I don't care, throw it out, do whatever you want with it, just don't leave me a bad review. So you want to add value, and you want to build loyalty around your product and brand, right? So that's pretty much it. That's like the review strategy in a nutshell.
Comment sent jumpsend.com is the competitor.
That's it. Yeah, JumpSend. Yeah. Oh no, JumpSend is they do reviews. I thought that was just what do you call it? Giveaway. No? Never used it.
We'll check it out.
I thought JumpSend was giveaway service. Like
an email automation tool and coupon distribution tool.
Okay. I haven't used it, so thanks for the tip, buddy. Okay. Simple ways to get more sales, right? So like I've said many times, it all starts with good product selection. The better the market you go into, the easier it is going to sell your product. I mean, it's just straightforward. So really good product selection is going to help you. Separate yourself and make your product unique, right? When you're launching a private label, see what improvements you can make. See how you can make your product better. Separate yourself and just build a better product. Competitive pricing is going to help your sales, right? Launch your product at a low price and then gradually increase over a couple of weeks or a week or whatever it is. If you're not doing a giveaway launch or anything like that, you can simply launch at break even, or what I call the wash price, right? The price that is like you're not losing money, but you're not really earning a lot of money. It's just to kind of increase the sales velocity in the beginning. And then you can incrementally raise the price as you start to lock into the algorithm and get sales, right? So basically, as you see your rank go up, then you will go ahead and raise your price a little bit incrementally every few days, raise it $1 or whatever it is, right? So keywords and customer benefit copy to connect with your customers. Super important. Like I mentioned earlier with listings, right? It's going to help your conversions. So what problems are your customers? What problems are your customers trying to solve? What needs do they have? Yeah, so like that's the sort of things that we look for. You can go to reviews and find out all that information, right? So sponsored ad strategy, position yourself on less competitive positions, right? So you want to look for the scale of low cost per click but a reasonable demand, and we can leverage several of these positions to get sales in our niche, so we can start ranking on keywords across the entire niche. Also, sales off Amazon traffic, right? Look at Facebook ads. This is something we're just kind of starting to experiment with. Pinterest, Instagram, etc. Right? There's a lot of everybody's starting to navigate towards the social media to drive sales to Amazon, and of course, other marketplaces, right? Look at Walmart, eBay. I sell on eBay. Amazon.co.uk, Amazon.ca, etc., etc., etc. Right? So there's a lot of other marketplaces that you can sell outside of Amazon and launch your brand and product to. So there's just some simple ways to kind of increase sales there. Okay, so we also want to, like I always say, build a repeatable system, right? So this whole system where you found a product, you've sourced it, you launched it, my 8 steps that I kind of keep talking about, it's a repeatable system. Every time you launch a product, you can follow the system and do it over and over again. And then as you do this, you get better and you start to see where the tools fall into the mix, right? At what point is a tool going to help you? At what point is a tool not helping you and you're just spending money, right? At what point can you add a VA or something like that? So you want to systemize your process. So something that you can do over and over, refining it, building it out, and making it better and better every single time. Obviously, you want to remove unnecessary steps, or and remove yourself from steps that are a pain for you, right? If you don't like sourcing, get an agent. If you don't like building a listing, outsource that. If you don't like research, get a VA, right? It's gonna help you. If you don't like doing something and it's holding you up and you're procrastinating, because that's what I do when I hate something, just find someone else to do it. Add tools in the right places to achieve specific goals, right? So, like if it's pulling leads, we use Jungle Scout and Keyword Inspector or whatever, but it's like what we use to pull leads out of thin air, right? So like that serves a purpose there. I don't really care about all the other bells and whistles in it, right? I use Jungle Scout. I don't care about the niche finder at all. I just use it in a specific way to pull leads out, and I have my own way to validate those leads, right? So use the tools in a specific way to achieve specific goals. Leverage outsourcing opportunities with VAs and services. We already kind of just mentioned that, but yes, plug a VA in. Tell you the best tip I've ever gotten, and it was from Christy. She was watching me do all this stuff like months and months ago, and she was like, "I'm getting you a VA," and I was like, "Fine. Well, I don't know what they're gonna do, but fine. Okay. Oh my God, game changer. Now it's like, get me another one. Oh wait, I don't want to answer emails anymore. Can you get me a VA?
Right. Like now you're addicted.
Yeah. Now
look what I've done. I've created a monster.
It's like, how can I get a VA to help me clean my room? Like, it's just like anything possible that I could possibly outsource is happening now. So thank you for that, buddy.
Happy to help.
So yes, Fiverr, for designers and all that stuff. Upwork for sourcing agents. Onlinejobs.ph is the best place to find VAs. I will say that. Super high quality VAs. Onlinejobs.ph is a paid service, but it's worth it. And I just want to say, maximize your failures, right? So if you do something and you fail, or if there's something that doesn't work, figure out why that did not work and change it. Do not do it again. And of course, you want to learn from that and then evolve, right? So make your system better every time. We screw up all the time, but it makes us better, right? So take that into consideration for what it's worth.
Yes. And that's the thing, is that no matter what, you're always going to be learning. You're always going to make a little mistake here and there, and we try to avoid them as best we can. And but over time, you stop making nearly as many mistakes, but you try something new. You try all the social media stuff. Well, that's going to be brand new, even though you've got this down. So, it's so much is trial and error. And the moment that you think that you're totally on autopilot is like 6 months before I can predict that things are going to go really bad for you, because you're not going to, you just have to kind of keep up with things and keep learning about what's going to be better and what's going to keep you on top. And there's always a way to refine. So I think it's just always important to sort of never let that idea go, because I think I've known some people who are been sellers for a while and they're like, I've got this. This is boring to me now. I don't have anything else. And I just look at their things and I think, gosh, there's so much more that you could be doing with what you already have. And so anyway, so there's always ways to make things better and to refine, or people, you think that you've reached the point where you've maxed out your time. And again, so you outsource things like that. So, I think it's just really important to always know that you're probably always going to make a few mistakes, because you're always going to be trying something new, but that's going to keep you on top, and that's going to keep you a really awesome, entrepreneur and business owner.
Yep. Well said. So, okay. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have for tonight.